Hello and good morning to you. This is Cliff Graves from Train Well Boxing. That's WELL, Train Well Boxing. Now you might be wondering why we're doing predominantly an audio presentation. We're just giving it a go. We've got over 400 videos that you can go and have a look at. Should you need to put a face to the voice and a voice to the face or whatever, but we're just trying something different. So I hope you've got your cuppa to hand. Sit back, relax, and hopefully I've got something of value for you. Before I start, this is aimed at any fighting sport, and this is also aimed at self-defense. Not street fighting, self-defense. There's a dramatic difference. So within the sport of boxing and other fighting sports, you not always need to or have to power punch. If you're going 12 rounds, then, unless you are a early KO operator, then quite frankly, you're just going to run into trouble. You need punches in bunches. You need to have a good jab. You need it all. You need to be able to move and everything. However, power punching is our forte. And I'll tell you what, 99% of videos that you will watch here on YouTube about power punching are wrong. 9 out of 10 are wrong. Not all, but most. When they talk about the power generating, the kinetic sequencing energy emanating from the ground and going up through the foot, up through the leg, into the hips, you know what I mean? They are not telling you the full story. Let me explain. Yes, it is true that this almost esoteric, if you want to call it like that, power emanates from Mother Earth. It comes out from Mother Earth, and it goes up through the foot, the ankle, the calves, up through the big, powerful leg muscles, into the hips. Okay. And then they say it goes through, transfers into the trunk and through into the shoulders and then out through the fist. That's where it goes wrong when it gets to the hips. Because what they have wrongly been teaching is the same principles a throwing sport would have. Okay, and it isn't the same. A punch is not the same. There are similarities so far, so far, and then they cease, they stop. If you take a javelin thrower is trying to gain height throwing the javelin. That's what they're trying to do. In fact, all of them are. The shot put is trying to gain height. The discus trying to gain height. The hammer trying to gain height. So from the hips, the whole body is following through. Yes, I know in the javelin they have something known as the block leg, which is always the lead leg. We're coming to that. Don't worry. We're coming to that. But I challenge you, if you think that I'm talking a load of bollocks and bullshit, I challenge you to go and watch videos, so you can see different javelin throwers. Look at a javelin thrower and you tell me what is happening with the rear leg. You tell me. Well, I'll tell you, if you don't bother to go and watch these videos that I've said to you to watch, you will see that the rear leg flies off the ground. This is why javelin throwers would do a lot of one-legged deadlifts and the like, because that's what happens. The kinetic energy builds up as they run up with the javelin we're talking about now. They run up, and then via this blocking off methodology that they use, javelin throwers, to block off the lead leg, all that kinetic energy is like rebounded off, and it's followed through. The whole of the torso follows through with a continuation of this spiraling outwards, which will send you, if you're trying to do that principle with a punch, out, exploding outwards, throwing the javelin far and high, throwing the shot put. Have you ever seen the shot put when they hit that block? They spin round and they hit that block. Their back legs gone off the ground as well. Same with the discus thrower. Because they're concentrating, an esoteric word coming up now, this energy, this mystical energy, which is also known as force, outwards and upwards. So yes, for a javelin thrower, any of the throwing sport, yes, explode it outwards and upwards. Yes, but not for a fighter. Because you could have somebody, you got to think of this intelligently, people. We're talking about boxing. We're not talking about self-defense now. We're talking about boxing. These world professional fighters, they go away to training camps and they're practice. They're at the top of their craft. Do you honestly think they're going to stand there and let you sucker punch them with something that you've sent from the other side of the world via a telegram to them? They're going to see this coming in and they're going to think, what is this all about? Yes, they do make mistakes, and yes, they do get calls. But most experienced professionals will see it a mile off. So will most amateur boxers. They'll see it a mile off, folks. Don't send them a telegram, and they'll pivot off, they'll sidestep, they'll get out of the way, and then you could go even with the new way that they do the secure the ropes these days in the rings, the boxing ring. You could go sailing out of the ring. Get real. Wake up and literally smell the coffee. Get real. It's a load of old bollocks. You do not punch like that. But you do in the initial stages. Now let me give you the correct way to power punch. Yes, it is true. You draw this mystical energy out and up through the foot, through the ankle, up through the legs, and into the hips. The way you do that is via speed. Speed. That, I just want you just to think of the rotation of your foot, a push off and rotation of your foot. So this energy is spiraling up your legs into your hips, which should be done at speed. So you need to practice, 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 and then more practice. You don't need fucking plyo bleeding metrics. Utilize your time to practicing over and over again. What do circus artists do? They practice and practice and practice and practice over and over and over again. The man doing the juggling, he practices and practices and practices over and over and over and over again and again and again and again, until he can do it blindfold, until he can do it spinning around and catching whatever he's juggling or she's juggling. The operative word here is practice. So practice that, pushing off. You're in a bladed stance now, and we're talking about a rear hand punch, not a lead left hook or whatever. So you pushed off because your rear foot will be angled off, won't it? Slightly at 45 degrees. You'll be slightly off. Your stance will be slightly off neutral, slightly back onto your rear leg. So something like 80-20, 80%. Sorry, what am I talking about? 80-20. I apologise. Scrap that one off. These are unrehearsed. These, not 80-20, but you know what I mean? Just slightly on your back foot. You push off as your foot is rotating out of the 45-degree angle. And you push off, and all you feel that force, esoteric, also known as the esoteric secret energy. You push it up, and you feel that power, you feel that force generating right up your legs into your hips. At which point, your bladed stance, which also would mean your hips at about a 45-degree angle, now rotate round fast, with speed, grease lightning speed, man. Grease lightning speed till they are square. You understand? Not at an angle. This is the thing where the javelin thrower has this posting effect on the lead leg. And we do the same as fighters. So that your hips are coming round and you post it off with the front leg, which really means a little isometric internal rotation, isometric, no movement, which slams the energy slams into a block and it rebounds off. There's your elastic energy strength. It rebounds off. You got me? Now the trunk is in motion. And in grease lightning speed, the trunk has rotated and followed through. This is literally all in one, this process, in a millisecond. Takes about 20 minutes or to describe it in detail, but in bam, 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 bam. As quick as that, as quick as you can blink. That's your punch. So it's gone through, you've gone through to square, your hips have gone square in the case of a reverse punch, right? It's gone square. Now you're letting it go. Now you're just letting it whip through. However, as opposed to imagining the force going upwards and outwards, when it gets to the hips and they have transferred that energy now into the upper body, the trunk. Now you sit down on your punches and you bring this mystical energy in to you rather than going out from you. You think, you create, you use creative visualization. This is why you got to practice, and then fucking practice some more and more over and over again. Done it 100 times, do it 1,000,000 times. You got to really get it. Okay. You think inwards, drawing that mystical word coming up, energy, drawing that power, drawing that force in, as opposed to out, like the throwing sports do, and you bring it in. Now we're going to get really esoteric now, because there's a position just below your belly button. It's known as the Tan Dien, or Hara, H-A-R-A. Well, they're the esoteric descriptions, right? But what it does is you bring that energy in to that location below your belly button. It comes in. It concertinas in. But you're spinning round, but it's coming in. So when you make that impact power, you've sat down on your punches in the space of a millisecond. All of this happens from the foot to the release out through the punch. It's using creative visualization to get the speed in the movement up to the hips is a push off and rotation, a push off and rotation, a push off and rotation. So yes, it is upwards, but when it gets to the hips, use that stop block method. so your hips don't go right the way round past square, which if they did again, wily fighter sees that coming. And what have you given him? You've given him your back of your neck. In a self-defense situation, if you did that, you've given your attacker the back of your neck, and they can just hammer fist the back of your neck, and you're in a bit of trouble. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That is the reason why you don't go right the way around. However, when you're following through with a trunk, yes, you do follow the power line, which is the shoulders, the top part of your upper back, your shoulders follow through, so that now your shoulders are not square, but literally as bladed as you can get them. So they're almost that, what would it be? 180 degrees. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And then when you hit the knuckles, the power goes back up your arm, down through your torso, down through your legs, and back into the ground. That is why you sit down on your punches. Okay? So, if anyone's telling you, oh, use kinetic energy sequencing, blah, 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 they are partially correct, but also they're undercutting you with the whole truth. So I hope this has helped you. If it has, please do drop me a line. And if you get the opportunity, do go and have a look at cliffgraves.surreal.com, will you? The link is in the exercise, is in the video description. I'd be most grateful if you could do that, everybody, and I hope it's helped. This is Cliff Graves from Trainwheel Boxing. Take it easy.